All right. Um, Module 4, Topic 2, Lesson 2. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a polygon on the plane. Or a snake on a plane. Graphing geometric figures. Okay. Learning goals for this lesson include plotting points in all 4 quadrants to form polygons. Draw polygons in the coordinate plane using coordinates for the vertices or corners. Determine the area enclosed by a polygon on the coordinate plane. Use coordinates to determine the length of a side joining points with the same first or second coordinate. Solve real-world and mathematical problems with geometric shapes in all 4 quadrants on the coordinate plane. You have determined area and perimeter of common polygons. You have decomposed complex figures into simpler shapes to determine their area. You've also determined the volume of right rectangular prisms. How can you use the coordinate plane to determine the area, perimeter, and even volume of shapes and objects? All right, so shape up. Your teacher will not select students to participate in the activity and provide them with conditions to plot on the human coordinate plane. For each student, plot and label the point where the student is standing on the coordinate plane. Use a different color for each location. Then record the coordinates of the point where the student is standing in the table. Okay, so for location 1, if I use this and I have something along the lines of this and this, this, and this, I want you to go through and then this is A, this is B, this is C, and then this is D for location 1. Okay. And then you should pause this and put the things in there for location 1. For location 2, we're going to have it so we have the points going to be A, B, C, and D. And so the blue ones are going here, and you're putting the coordinates in for that one. And then for location number 3, I'm going to use orange. That's what's showing up. And I'm going to need you to do the following. I'm going to have point A, point B, point C, and point D. All right. And so I'm going to pause this and you're going to write down what the different locations were or what the different coordinates were for each of the 3 locations. And you're going to do that now. All right. If I look at location 1, A would be 2, 4. B would be 5, 4. C would be 2, -3. D would be 5, -3. For location 2, A would be -6, 4. B would be -2, 4. C would be -2, 0. D would be -6, 0. For location 3, A would be -5, -2. B would be -3, -2. C would be -1, -4. D would be -7, -4. 2, what shape did your classmates form at location 1? All right, so I go to location 1, I connect the dots, and I see that they formed a rectangle. And when I think about a rectangle, 4 sides, 4 right angles, parallelogram, opposite sides are parallelogram. Opposite sides, same length. We're good there. Okay. Then when I look at location 2, record the shape they formed there. Location 2, if I connect the dots, I can see that they formed a, different color. They formed a square. Same length sides, 4 sides. Same length sides. Right angles. All right. Then it says record the shape formed at location 3. Prove that your classmates formed the shape. So location 3, A, B, C, D, and then back there. And I look at that shape, and I see that that shape should be known as a trapezoid. Okay. 4 sides, at least 1 pair of parallel sides. And that kind of does it there. So if I'm going through this, A, B, C, D here with this one is a rectangle. It has 4 right angles. The opposite sides are the same length. It's a parallelogram. These 2 sides are never going to touch. These 2 sides are never going to touch. The blue one right there, that is a square, A, B, C, D, 4 sides, all the same length, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 right angles, opposite sides are parallel to each other. And then the orange one is a trapezoid. This side and this side will go on forever and ever, and it's never going to touch, and it's got 4 sides. Okay, and so that is that portion of the getting started for this section. Activity 2.1 now. What shape am I? One advantage of the Cartesian coordinate plane, I think I'm saying it right, is that it enables mathematicians to use coordinates to analyze geometric figures. Graph the points on the coordinate plane and connect the points to form a polygon. Okay, so if I was doing this, you should pause, do it, and then check to see that you're right. That's how you get better. Okay, it's all about doing the right thing over and over again. So you try, then you watch, then you correct if you need to, and see if you're on the right track, and then try to get better as you go. Okay, so pause it and do it, and then play this. Now, if you're playing it, 1, -2. So I start at the origin every time. I go left to right first. 1, -2 is going to be right there. -5, -2 is going to be right there. 1, 3 is going to be right there. -5, 3 is going to be right there. Always start at the origin. First coordinate tells me how far to go on the x-axis, left or right. The second coordinate tells me how far to go up or down. on the y-axis. Okay, and so identify the polygon formed and justify your answer. That, ladies and gentlemen, should be a rectangle. Same as what we said in the warm-up thing. 4 sides, right angles, parallelogram, the opposite sides are never going to touch forever and ever. Determine the perimeter of the polygon. That's how long it is going around. All right, so going around, the perimeter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's 12. And 10 and 12 is going to be 22. So it'd be 22 units for the perimeter or going around. Then the area of a rectangle is length times width, or base times height will equal the area of a rectangle. And I said this was 5, and I said this was 6. And so the area of this is 30 units squared. And if I count it in here, I would count 30 little squares. Okay? And so that's number 1. Number 2, graph the points on the plane and connect the points to form a polygon. You should do the same thing as before, and you should answer all of these wonderful questions, and then watch the video. That's what you should do. Okay. Continuing on, -2 and 3, -2, 3, 3, -2. Start at the origin, 3, -2. Then -2, -3, -2, -3. Then 3 and 2, 3 and 2. All right. And then it says connect the points to form a polygon. So I connect the points. And if I look at this, and actually maybe I need to turn it around, and I see that it is, if I turn it that way, it is an isosceles trapezoid, or it is a trapezoid if I'm remembering how to spell it. And so it is 4 sides. And it has one pair, at least one pair of parallel lines. Parallel lines. Okay. Determine the area of the polygon. This requires me to remember the area is going to be 1/2 times the one base plus the other base times the height. All right. And so I look at this, and this base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1/2 times 6 plus the other base is 1, 2, 3, 4. And the bases are the ones that are parallel to each other. So if I let those go forever and ever, they're never going to touch. And so those are the 2 lines that are parallel. These 2 lines are going to intersect someplace over here. Okay. The height is perpendicular to the base, and it goes to the other base. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to get from one base to the other when I form a 90-degree angle there. Okay. So now I just kind of follow the order of operations. So I would have 1/2 times 10 times 5, or 5, half of 10 is 5 times 5. And then the area of this is going to be 25 units square. Do you see why they didn't ask you for the perimeter for this one? I know this, and I know this, but I can't count this very easily because it's on an angle. Okay? And so that's our second what shape am I? Finally, I'm doing the third what shape am I? Graph the points on the plane and then connect the points to form a polygon. You should pause this. You should do it first. Then you should play the video. -2 and 5, 3 and -3, -2 and -3, and then 5 and 2. I feel like I made a mistake. That's why I'm looking. Okay, let's see here. -2 and 5, good. 3 and -3, good. -2 and -3, 5 and 2. All right. Then if I was to connect these, it's going to look like that, and like that, and like that, and like that. Something that just has 4 sides but nothing else special about it would be called a quadrilateral. 4 sides. Okay. The area for this is a tricky thing. I have a couple of ideas of what I would do. But quite honestly, I would almost put it into 2 different shapes here. And so I would have it so I have this triangle on top, and then I would have this trapezoid on the bottom. Okay? And for the trapezoid part, it'd be 1/2. The area there is going to be 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. And so if I look at this, the area of this trapezoid, base 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. The height of this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And so it would be 1/2 times 12 times 5. Or it would be 6 times 5, which would be 30 units squared, which is just going to be the bottom section. The top section is a triangle, and a triangle is going to be 1/2 of the base times the height. And so the height here is 3 units. 1/2 times the base times 3. The base is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. And so if I calculate this out, it'll be half of 21, or 10.5 units squared. If I add those two together, I get a grand total here of 10.5 for up here for the triangle, plus 30 is going to be 40.5 units squared. And so that's doing the composing, what is that called? Where you're putting the areas together like we've been practicing in our warm-ups, all right? But that is the end of lesson 2.1.